Astro-Vāstu for Taurus Rising, Vrishabha Lagna, a Housewise spatial doctrine for Venus-led accumulation, stability, and continuity. 1. First house, Lagna zone, embodied stability. Taurus Rising is ruled by Venus and anchored in Earth. This makes the home an extension of the body, senses, and value system. For Taurus, growth does not come from speed, it comes from continuity. When the overall house lacks grounding or permanence, Taurus does not collapse dramatically. Instead, life erodes slowly. Motivation fades, satisfaction weakens, wealth leaks without obvious reason. The Lagna zone must feel settled, dependable, and inhabitable for decades. If the home feels temporary, movable, or restless, Venus loses her anchoring power. Second house, main health gate and security. This zone governs income stability, food security, and self-worth. For Taurus Rising, the entrance should feel welcoming, calm, and reassuring. The northeast allows Jupiter to guide Venus, ensuring ethical accumulation and long-term gains. East supports steady growth without urgency. When this zone is pressured or aggressive, financial anxiety increases, fear of loss dominates, decisions become overly conservative or indulgent. A gentle, inviting threshold reassures Taurus that resources will continue to come. Third house, living room. Comfort circulation. This space determines how comfort and prosperity circulate daily. Taurus does not thrive in empty, hyper-open layouts. The living room must support containment, symmetry, and tactile comfort. When aligned, you feel safe to relax, conversations slow down naturally, the nervous system softens. When misaligned, subtle dissatisfaction, restlessness without cause, a sense of something missing. This zone teaches Taurus how to receive without guilt. Fourth house, emotional core, inner security. This is Taurus's emotional foundation. Venus here seeks predictability and sensory reassurance. Sudden changes, harsh lighting, or hollow spaces destabilize emotional health. If disturbed, hormonal imbalances, emotional eating or suppression, attachment to routines that no longer nourish. When stabilized, this zone allows Taurus to feel emotionally full without excess. 5. Fifth house, pleasure, creativity, and joy. This zone governs how Taurus enjoys life. For Taurus Rising, joy must be slow, embodied, and repeatable. Overstimulating or fiery expressions disconnect Venus from pleasure. When balanced, creativity becomes sustainable, pleasure feels deserved, romantic satisfaction deepens. When blocked, overindulgence, loss of joy, seeking comfort through excess. This zone reminds Taurus that pleasure is a resource, not a reward. Sixth house, kitchen and daily nourishment. Food is emotional safety for Taurus. The kitchen governs daily discipline, family nourishment, wealth continuity. When this zone is aligned, eating habits stabilize, health improves gradually, effort feels rewarding. When misplaced, anxiety around food and money, emotional eating, family friction. This zone determines whether Venus feels supported or depleted. 7. Seventh house, master bedroom, relational stability. This zone anchors long-term relationships and emotional satisfaction. For Taurus Rising, bedroom placement is critical. Without grounding, Venus becomes insecure despite material comfort. If disturbed, emotional dissatisfaction, fear of abandonment, relationship stagnation. When aligned, relationships feel safe, attachment softens into trust, sleep becomes restorative. This is where Taurus learns that stability does not require control. 8th house. Storage, vaults, and hidden assets. This zone governs savings, inheritance, and stored wealth. For Taurus, clutter here equals financial anxiety. Hidden accumulation must feel orderly and protected. When balanced, savings grow quietly, fear of loss reduces, emotional resilience strengthens. When neglected, hoarding tendencies, anxiety despite abundance, financial blind spots. 9th house, values, ethics, and long-term vision. This zone shapes beliefs around money, worth, and effort. Taurus Rising requires value systems that justify accumulation without guilt. When aligned, wealth feels ethical, long-term goals remain intact, faith in slow growth strengthens. When blocked, self-doubt around success, conflict between desire and values, stagnation despite effort. 10. 10th house, work from home and material authority. This zone governs how Taurus sustains status and income. Taurus works best when effort compounds. A calm, stable workspace prevents burnout and reinforces consistency. When aligned, income stabilizes, career feels dependable, authority grows organically. When misaligned, loss of motivation, feeling unrewarded, career dissatisfaction without crisis. 11. 11th house, gains, networks, and support. This zone governs returns on effort. For Taurus, gains must feel predictable and reliable. Erratic social or professional circulation destabilizes Venus. When balanced, networks support growth, gains feel deserved, long-term plans stay intact. When blocked, fear of losing support, inconsistent income, social withdrawal. 12. 12th house, rest, release, and sufficiency. This zone teaches Taurus the lesson, I already have enough. It governs rest, detachment from excess, release without fear. When aligned, sleep deepens, anxiety around money dissolves, satisfaction stabilizes. When disturbed, overattachment, fear-driven accumulation, insomnia, or emotional heaviness. Core Astro-Vāstu principle for Taurus rising. Astro-Vāstu for Taurus is not about acceleration. It is about preventing leakage. When your home grounds the southwest, softens the northeast, nourishes the southeast, stabilizes the north, Venus expresses as sustainable wealth, deep, lasting relationships, body comfort, emotional fulfillment. A Taurus home must feel like it can last 50 years. If it feels temporary, Venus cannot relax, and neither can you. Astro-Vāstu interior design for Taurus Rising. A Venus-led Housewise spatial doctrine for accumulation, stability, and continuity. 1. First house, Lagna zone, embodied stability. For you as a Taurus rising, the house is not a backdrop to life. It is the body extended into space. Venus does not rush. She settles, roots, and grows quietly over time. So when your overall home feels temporary, modular, overly minimal, or constantly changing, something inside you never fully lands. You may not feel dramatic distress, but motivation erodes, satisfaction thins out, and wealth begins to leak in invisible ways. I always say this to Taurus natives, your Lagna zone must feel like it could exist unchanged for decades. Materials matter here. Solid wood, stone, thick fabrics, and furniture with visual weight reassure your nervous system that life is stable. Colors should feel earthy and inhabitable. Cream, warm beige, soft olive, muted blush, or taupe. Nothing harsh, nothing experimental. Lighting must be warm and consistent, never stark or flickering. When this zone is right, you don't feel excited. You feel settled, and that is where your power begins. Second house, main entrance, wealth gate, and security. This is where your sense of safety meets the outside world. For Taurus rising, the entrance must welcome resources calmly, not aggressively. I always recommend a gentle, reassuring threshold. Nothing sharp, nothing loud. Northeast-aligned entrances work beautifully for you because Jupiter guides Venus here, ensuring that accumulation remains ethical, sustainable, and steady. East also supports gradual growth without urgency. Your door should feel solid and dependable. Natural wood finishes work best. The lighting must be soft but clear, never dramatic. When you step in, your body should relax slightly, as if reassured that provisions continue. If this zone feels pressured, too dark, too bold, too guarded, you may notice anxiety around money, fear of loss, or swings between extreme saving and indulgence. A Taurus entrance should quietly say, you are provided for. 3. Third house, living room comfort circulation. This space teaches you how comfort flows daily. Unlike Aries or Gemini, you do not thrive in hyper-open, empty layouts. Your living room must hold you. I suggest symmetrical seating, grounded furniture, and tactile comfort. Cushions you want to touch, fabrics you want to linger on. When this space is aligned, conversations slow down naturally. Your nervous system softens. You feel safe enough to receive without guilt. When it isn't, dissatisfaction creeps in quietly, a sense that something is missing even when nothing is wrong. Avoid stark minimalism here. Taurus does not relax in emptiness, you relax in containment. 4. Fourth house, emotional core, inner security. This is your emotional stomach. Venus here needs predictability. Sudden changes, harsh lighting, or hollow acoustics destabilize you far more than you may consciously realize. If this zone is disturbed, it often shows up through hormonal imbalances, emotional eating, or rigid attachment to routines that no longer nourish you. I recommend steady lighting, soft textures, and familiar arrangements. Earthy colors and repetition soothe you. When this zone is stable, you feel emotionally full without excess, content without needing distraction. 5. Fifth house, pleasure, creativity, and joy. For you, pleasure must be slow, embodied, and repeatable. This is not a zone for stimulation or intensity. Overly fiery colors, loud art, or chaotic creativity disconnect Venus from joy and push you toward overindulgence instead. I suggest warm, sensual tones, muted pinks, honey, soft golds, and creative tools that invite consistency rather than novelty. When balanced, pleasure feels deserved, not compensatory. Romance deepens. Creativity becomes sustainable. This space reminds you that pleasure is a resource, not a reward. 6. Sixth house, kitchen and daily nourishment. For Taurus Rising, food equals safety. Your kitchen is not just functional, it governs emotional stability, family harmony, and wealth continuity. When this zone is aligned, eating habits stabilize, health improves slowly but surely, and effort feels rewarding rather than draining. I recommend grounded colors, solid countertops, and an orderly layout. The kitchen should feel reliable, not experimental. When misplaced or anxiety around food and money often rises together, and emotional eating becomes a coping mechanism. This zone determines whether Venus feels supported or slowly depleted. Number 7, seventh house. Master bedroom, relational stability. This is where your attachment patterns live. Even with material comfort, Venus can feel insecure if this space lacks grounding. I always suggest heavy beds, stable headboards, and a sense of permanence. Symmetry matters here. It calms relational anxiety and reinforces trust. If disturbed, emotional dissatisfaction or fear of abandonment can surface quietly. When aligned, relationships feel safe, attachment softens into trust and sleep becomes deeply restorative. This is where you learn that stability does not require control. 8. Eighth house. Storage, vaults, and hidden assets. This zone mirrors your relationship with stored wealth. For you, clutter here equals financial anxiety, regardless of actual abundance. Storage must feel orderly, protected, and intentional. I always advise closed storage, clear categorization, and periodic review. When balanced, savings grow quietly and fear of loss reduces. When neglected, hoarding tendencies and financial blind spots emerge. Your resilience strengthens when what is hidden feels secure, not forgotten. 9th house, values, ethics, and long-term vision. This space shapes how you justify success to yourself. You need belief systems that allow accumulation without guilt. When this zone is aligned, wealth feels ethical, effort feels meaningful, and long-term goals remain intact. Soft, calm study spaces, steady lighting, and symbols of continuity help here. When blocked, self-doubt creeps in. Conflicts between desire and values stall growth despite effort. This zone trains you to trust slow growth again. 10. 10th house. Work from home and material authority. Your career thrives on compounding effort, not hustle. A calm, stable workspace prevents burnout and reinforces consistency. I recommend solid desks, neutral colors, and minimal but meaningful decor. Nothing flashy, nothing transient. When aligned, income stabilizes and authority grows organically. When misaligned, motivation fades, not explosively, but quietly. Taurus dissatisfaction rarely announces itself, it accumulates. Asha 11th house, gains, networks, and support. This is where returns on effort arrive. You need predictability here. Erratic social or professional circulation destabilizes Venus and triggers withdrawal. When this space is balanced, networks feel supportive, gains feel deserved, and long-term plans stay intact. When blocked, fear of losing support increases. Income becomes inconsistent, and you may retreat socially, not from dislike, but from insecurity. 12th house, rest, release, and sufficiency. This zone teaches you the most important Taurus lesson. I already have enough. Here, rest dissolves anxiety around money and possessions. Soft, neutral tones, minimal stimulation, and a sense of quiet completeness allow Venus to release without fear. When disturbed, over-attachment and fear-driven accumulation arise, often alongside insomnia or emotional heaviness. When aligned, sleep deepens and satisfaction stabilizes, not through more, but through enough. Astro-Vāstu for Taurus is not about acceleration. It is about preventing leakage. When your home grounds the southwest, softens the northeast, nourishes the southeast, and stabilizes the north, Venus expresses herself fully as sustainable wealth, deep relationships, bodily comfort, and emotional fulfillment. A Taurus home must feel like it can last 50 years. If it feels temporary, Venus cannot relax, and neither can you.